Hey guys, welcome back to another Super Metal Brothers Let's Talk episode. I'm Super Metal Brother Matt.
And I'm Super Metal Brother Dave.
Today we are talking about Devin Townsend. He has, for some reason, announced to the world that he wants to return back to where it all started, Strapping Young Lad songs. Now, Devin Townsend lately has been doing a lot of the craziness of his own search for his own musical discovery. And Danny, what is his latest work sound like?
It's everything, isn't
what
it?
isn't it?
Yeah, I can't, you know, it's not country music. I think that's all it's not.
People say to me on the internet, because you know that's the only way people communicate these days, that he's a musical chameleon, and I tend to disagree with that notion. I just think he's someone that's kind of a madman. He's just throwing all his awesome ideas into a mix, but they're all the ideas. Like there's no filter anymore. It's just off, and he's writing for the sake of writing, and then he's whatever you get, you've just got, you know. And some people think that 10 minutes of every genre in the world is a good song, and for me, I'm like, no, I just like to have, like when you're making a dish, you know, you can do something really good with, you know, about 4 or 5 spices. You don't need all the spices, you know.
Unless you're KFC, then 11 herbs and spices seems to work well for them.
Yeah. Well, nevertheless, though, we are happy that he has returned. That he's returning to his metal roots, and he's going back to Strapping Young Lad. And before we get into it, let's listen to what Devin has to say. He was talking to Everblack podcast, possibly an Australian one, Danny.
Apparently, yeah.
Anyway, with an interview with Everblack, he said, I'm doing a tour in November, and that's going to be a very selfish tour for me. A ton of people on stage, playing a bunch of stuff that I wanted to play for years. A lot of improv and a lot of interesting things. See, I like that Devin Townsend has the balls to announce that what he's doing it for himself. And people seem to think that, no, he's too far brilliant for that. Like, no, he's not. You know, and that's where some of the brilliance is in certain individuals. They're so brilliant and smart because they have all these ideas, but this guy is just wrestling with it. And I think he's got the self-awareness to understand that a little bit is self-indulgent. Like when he is wanking you every 10 minutes about playing for everything from funk, jazz, metal, show tunes, classical music. You know, literally it's everything. It's not just, he's just, you know, you're just being innovative. He's combining 2 or 3 different things. No, he's not. He's doing everything, you know. But starting next year, he says, I'm going to be touring everything. And that includes strapping stuff. I'm going to be doing what it equates to, like, what's the best of? I've done a few in the past years. Let's make a live venture for me. The best can possibly be, and learn from your past and come back out. I think there's a lot of musicians that fall away from metal, but I kind of fell back in love with it, and I think some people have fallen back in love with you, Devin. Although seriously, when you see the guy talk, he's quite charismatic and enigmatic, high dramatic.
It's Chris Lane, baby.
It's a big part of what I do, he says, and it's a big part of who I am, I think. I've denied that for a certain amount of time, but everything's, man, it's like Empath was for me. The metal part of it, it's a big part of the trip, and it's the mellow part of it. It's not one over the other, it's just who I am. I don't want to get rid of the metal side stuff. I love it. I just have to play ball with other stuff, and that stuff has to play ball with other stuff. And believe me, there's more balls than a night out in the Mars bar or at the a game like Game Lesbian Mardi Gras.
Sure. Or you just say like Harlem Globetrotters game, if you'll be PC about it.
Nah. So we asked the fans because we feel like we don't know enough about Strapping Young Lad to really dictate to Devin Townsend, the music chameleon of all chameleons. And we decided we'll get the fans to decide for us. And they've voted in numbers, and we've kind of laid out some percentages for you guys to hear from what Devin you needed to play. And Danny, we've rounded it down to about 8 tracks.
Pretty much. So the song they definitely want Devin to play, which we agreed upon as well, is...
Wait, should we go backwards, upwards? So we start from the weakest song first?
All right.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like... Out of the top 8, there was clear 3 winners, and the rest were kind of like sharing the rest of the pie. Yeah, they're sharing
the rewards. So we'll go through those ones.
They shared the crumbs of the pie.
Yeah.
So one of them was Thalamus.
Yep.
Theminus.
Yep, called apparently in the promos it was called like Landscape. From the Alien album. Has a couple of great tracks. A very dark sounding album. It's got some really dark, really heavy tunes to it as well. But one that was rated pretty low. But, you know, you might want to consider putting it in the middle of your set, Devin. Just FYI.
People also want to hear SYL.
Stevie, you loser, apparently.
I thought it was a really heavy thing. I thought it was a self-titled track. I thought it was Strapping Young Lad, but then I just don't know.
The talk around town is that he had a massive falling out because he used to be Stevie Steve Vai's lead singer for the band. And if you want proof, you actually go onto YouTube and type it in. You'll get a couple of songs with him singing live with Steve Vai, but also a film clip as well. And that song's pretty great, actually. Devin's just blows over with his massive vocals, and it's great. It's just a real catchy chorus as well. But going back to SYL, the interesting notes of that track is at the start is a very baby sounding person and a very young, but that actually is Devin Townsend as a kid. So it all starts there, and it's pretty chaotic, and you actually get to hear in that track later seeds for songs like Detox as well, with those gallops and those big choruses and big sounds with luscious symphonic elements as well. I guess that's these like electronic kind of things,
sure.
But it's a heavy track, and it's a lot of fun, a lot of progression, and he swears a lot in it.
Yeah, and if you ever want to see Devin with haircut, then check it out, the film clip.
He has an undercut.
He has
just
undercut,
like
classic 90s.
And he's wearing I'm a Deaf shirt, I think, as well.
Yeah, there you go. It's a classic 90s. All
Next
right,
song, Danny?
people also want to hear AAA,
Yep.
which is from the City album, which features quite a lot.
Yeah, this album here, City, is basically must be the album of albums, because this isn't the first time it's going to feature in this one. It's got quite a catchy chorus. I think that's what people will love about this track. Decent track. Not my favourite from the album, but sure is for our fans.
Yeah, and also off the same album was Oh My Effing God.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
This is the
Trashy.
third track from the album as well. Big chorus, big headbanger for that one. Got some blast beats in there from Gene Hoglan, obviously notorious for being with other bands like Death. As well, and I think there's a couple other new ones as well he's been in, so good on him.
Yep, yeah, then people want to hear also Almost Again.
Yeah, this is quite an interesting track. Some of the New Black album as well. The production here is super crisp and super clear, and probably some of the best produced metal. I think that's he's done for the band as well.
Has a bit of progressive nature about
it does,
well,
and then maybe some of the
sad,
showing tells of what would happen later. Next, though, I think these top three, Danny, should be taken to consideration as our strongest by far, though. Yes. And the fans voted in numbers for these ones.
So nearly 13% of the vote went to All Hail the New Flesh.
Yeah,
or unless it's two different names, I don't know. All Hail and slash
All Hail the New Flesh. Yeah, that's right. I think there's some brackets in there or something. But it's basically the opening track. I mean, there is an opening track from City, but like all symphonic metal albums, it's a minute long, and it's just there to tickle your giblets and to get you excited for things to come. I think it's a great track, though. It's actually got some big blast beats, and that verse is just pining at a mile a minute. It's like real cool. No, it's a real good song, and I think one of the things that got me hooked into the band, in that era, because I think in the 90s we'll get into bands like Slipknot and that, but then we had the tracks like this, and we're like, wow, strapping, get on it.
Yep, and coming in second with about 19% of the votes is Love from the Alien song. Now, Love,
question mark, Love? I think it's actually got a question mark, so it's Love, Apparently it's inspired by a horror movie, the film clip, but what it really does is has an amazing riff that I think what people really want to hear. It's a little repetitive, though, the riff. It does feature a lot in the song, but when it's that awesome, can you blame it?
Yeah, I mean, I was more so taken away by his vocals in this track, because this song I heard on Channel V when they had metal on V, or when they actually played a metal hour on V.
That's when it was hanging on for dear life at that time. Yeah,
and this song came out from nowhere. And the way he goes what's the way? That was freaking great, man. But I think the film clip's probably inspired from Evil Dead, because they're in a cabin, things turn zombies like the Evil Dead.
I think the chorus that Devin does in this song is really last and sensitive, which is very unique for such a heavy sounding, and that's kind of some of his brilliance, isn't it? When he teases certain elements like that, it doesn't get too over the top, just kind of twists it a little bit. It takes those conventional wisdoms from singing, but does more personality than a lot of other singers do.
Oh, he's got such a big range.
Yeah, exactly. And this song is one you have to check out, and definitely one he has to play live, I think, because it's
a great song.
It's a great song. It's a great riff.
And
but
clearly, number one winner, I think everybody guessed it with 38% of the votes, big margin over everything else, was Detox from the City album again.
Now, this is the first song I heard from Devin Townsend in general.
Pretty much, yeah.
When I was witness to this track, it did everything right. The way it starts, it spoke to my 17-year-old or 15-year-old me. I that stupid blah blah blah. Yeah, dun, 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 dun. I mean that gallop, right? Yeah. You're just off to the races. Even then the riff after, all those kind of classic ones. Chorus is awesome, so much energy, so crazy. And then obviously you get that breakdown, which is super kind of happy. It just gives you that little bit of a jumpy vibe to it, just for it to return to even more brutality. And the way Devin goes into it with his lyrics, his trademark style, but also that quirkiness and that it really injects life into these tracks. And I think this is Devin at his best when it comes to his commercial viability. This track,
better believe it, you dumb buggers. Pow, 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 pow. Yeah, so that's definitely what I was saying here with you. That's the first song I heard from Devin. Got me into that kind of scream side of metal because I never heard the scream side of it before. And yeah, I got a lot of that track, and I still remember it to this day, and I still play it every now and then, so it's a really great song.
It's a great song.
A lot of things
so
happen.
If you guys needed any more convincing, make sure you check out the City album from Strapping Young Lad. If they just played that in its entirety, I think our fan base
it seems that way. It seems like that's the album to get. So anyone who wants to get the Strapping, get that album.
I mean, 4 tracks out of 8. These guys had, I think, 5 albums, and half of the discography is from one CD. Although, be honest, it pretty much is like it's those. Everyone has that CD from the band kind of thing, you know. Every band's got it, you know, like Machine Head from Deep Purple, or
Vulgar Display of Power.
Yeah, Vulgar Display of Power.
I
would say the
Rust in Peace.
Yeah, Rust in Peace, exactly. I'm trying to think of one from Nevermore, but I can't because I love them all the same. They're my babies. Iconoclast from Symphony X.
Yeah, why not?
You know,
Bloody Sacrament from Lamb of God or something.
Yeah, exactly. And you see where we're going with this. And this is their album, City. It's a great album. What do you guys have to think, though? You know, for you guys checking out this list for the first time, make sure you leave us a comment about what songs you want to hear from Devin Townsend for Strapping Young Lad. I'm sure he's taking requests on our channel. I mean, where else would he go to?
Well, he did that podcast. That's Australian. We're Australian.
We're Australian.
You know,
we're just returning the favour. We're doing his homework.
Come on, man.
Talk to our extensive fan base. These guys know. So, you know, if anyone's got a problem or a dislike, you know.
Yeah. You know who should really listen to this, though, is Mikkel from Opeth, because maybe he can be inspired to play metal again as well.
Yeah, that'd be nice, man.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Well, guys, let us know what you think until next week. I am Super Mario Brother Matt.
I'm Super Mario Brother Dan.
We're in the Super Mario Brothers, and we'll talk to you soon.